Congressman Coleman. Mr. Comer, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, and welcome to the committee today. I think I, for one, am strongly in favor of reorganizing the government. The two things that I support strongly from an ideological standpoint with respect to government is to reduce the size of government and the bureaucracy, as well as cut wasteful spending. So my questions are, first of all, is this reorganization plan, is it an actual downsizing of government?
So I think it's a great question. The initial look at the data around how do we deliver the mission in the 21st century looked at what are we doing, what does the American people expect the government to do, and where are we doing it well, and where do we have challenges? Much like in business, looking at the gap analysis. What we do not actually have is a problem of too many federal employees. So when we did the analysis, something like 60% of our existing federal workforce is eligible to retire within 10 years, 40% within 3 years. So what we don't have is a challenge of too many federal workers to deliver the mission. What we do have is a skills alignment challenge and opportunity.
So is reducing the federal workforce, is that a purpose of the reorganization?
It is not the purpose of the reorganization. It may be a byproduct in certain areas, but it's actually a major priority to look at the workers we already have who have passed background checks, who are committed to the missions, and look at how we might redeploy them to the areas we can't hire enough people.
Would you say that one of the goals of this reorganization is to actually save money?
Absolutely.
Shifting gears, I want to ask some questions about the nutrition assistance programs, the welfare programs. I'm a member of the Agriculture Committee. This has obviously been a big topic of discussion as we squeaked a farm bill through the House last week. With respect to the consolidation of nutrition assistance programs from the Department of Ag's Food and Nutrition Service into the renamed Department of Health and Public Welfare, this action would require congressional approval, correct?
Absolutely.
What is the proposed timeline for stating the purpose of obtaining statutory authority here?
So this would be something we'd want to work with Congress on determining. The rationale for this proposal is really to make it easier for the states who actually administer the cash or near cash aid, who typically administer it out of one function, to make it more streamlined so that more of our money actually goes to the needy families and isn't wasted on bureaucracy. I think the timeline and all the issues need to be hashed out with the key players.
Okay. Could you explain the benefits to taxpayers and those needing assistance from the government of the consolidation of nutrition assistance programs with other welfare programs?
Sure thing. So conflicting and confusing eligibility requirements actually make it difficult for people who are in need of assistance to navigate what the requirements are. It make it also difficult for the states who are supporting that to help their constituents, their clients, get the need-based aid that they need. It also the conflicting eligibility requirements may make it more vulnerable to fraud and abuse of that system. So the belief is that if we take a customer-centric approach, both in terms of how we deliver the money to the states, as well as how the states interact with their clients, the needy families, this should streamline it and make it easier.
Great. Sounds good. Look forward to working with the administration as we move forward with this reorganization. Last question, and this is a big question. When you're looking at reorganizing the Postal Service, has privatization come up? Is that the direction that you think you're going to propose to head in, or what's the status of privatization of the Postal Service?
So the privatization is definitely a vision for the longer term and a framework that could be looked at. I think in all scenarios, both in the proposals that this body has agreed to, as well as the task force that the president has pulled together, the near term has to be about economic improvement in the Postal Service, because you couldn't privatize an entity that has the level of liabilities and economic challenge that the existing Postal Service does.
Great. Well, thank you very much, and I yield back, Madam Chairman.